Okay, so another vlog to close the day. I decided to give myself a big challenge today. I've got quite a few things done. They're going to be in the report for Mantequilla Soft, but I upgraded the back end for 3Speak. Now we have a better feed for shorts, and I also did away with the Union Indexer, which is old code that is not maintained, and we're going to have, I think, a better landing page for 3Speak, as well as some customized feeds for following and all that stuff that I've already finished. But not content with that, I started to work on other things because, of course, there was still time in the day, and more so because I've been drinking some green tea. So I'm not back to coffee, but green tea has a little bit of caffeine, I guess. And one of the things that I wanted to tackle, and I've been really wanting to tackle, is our supernode. Many months ago, when I joined Eddie in his efforts to get 3Speak back healthy, one of the things that I noticed right away was that the supernode wasn't behaving right. I've made vlogs about it. I've written a lot about it. I made videos uh, because it turns out that the supernode was not maintained, and turns out that there's a limit to the size that these things can have. The idea that you can have just a gigantic repo with, I don't know, 200 terabytes of information without any maintenance is laughable at best, naive. You know, to be nice, it's just naive. And there wasn't any maintenance done on it, so nobody ever deleted stuff. Nobody ever defragged it, or you can't really defrag on IPFS, but you can do what's called garbage collection and get rid of stuff, and more or less let the repo heal itself, which is kind of how it's supposed to work. But one of the challenges with having one node, which is what we had, one place where all the videos landed, is that that node had to do it all. It had to serve all the videos that people were requesting. It had to also uh, pin new videos, so people were uploading the new videos to there. It was also serving as a way for staging as well. So it was also a staging server. So people would upload their raw files onto it, and then that would get sent to the encoders and all this stuff. So it was just, you were literally asking for the supernode to be a hot node, to be a warm node, and be a still cold storage node, all in one. And because it is a monster computer, and it is, you might think it can, and of course it did until it couldn't anymore. So two weeks ago now, I finished the, I guess, the MVP for the hot node, and we launched it carefully, of course, and we had just a couple of encoders, Eddie and myself, uploading to it and making sure that everything was working well. And we ended up changing the pull zone for the CDN, which meant that all the videos were going to come from the hot node, not from the super node anymore, and migrated all the other encoders to use the hot node. Right away, when we did that, everything just got way faster, and more so if you're doing shorts, I'm sure you can tell how they load so quick. There's almost no wait, which is pretty awesome. But because of that, I've kind of neglected a little bit of taking care of the supernode, and the supernode was already on its last legs, meaning that the migration that the hot node does, which is part of the workers, which is to grab videos that are already 7 days old and move them for cold storage, I guess you could say, or warm, because people still might watch it, to the supernode, was not happening. So every day I was getting notifications, which is one of the things I added on the hot node to my Discord channel with a webhook, that pins were failing, meaning it would try to move 20 videos and it would fail six, seven, sometimes even more. And that meant I had to go manually and log in, SSH, and try to pin the videos and back it up and all this stuff, because at the end of the day, the hot node doesn't have that much memory. It has 1 tera, which is pretty good, but for video it's not a lot. So I think we can eat it up in a month. I'm pretty sure we can, actually. So it needs to keep on moving, needs to keep on chugging along. So today I said to myself, I need to find a solution. Actually, 2 days ago, I started researching on how to do it, and I think I found the best solution to do this with. So basically, we have right now in the Supernode a repo that is 70 something terabytes of videos. I think a lot of those videos are possibly garbage, and I'm not saying because of the quality of the videos, meaning just things that people upload that they're not connected to any posts on Hive. No, nobody can watch them because they don't know what they are. I suspect, but again, this repo was not very much maintained, and there was no way to really filter CIDs there to filter the content that is being uploaded. So I basically call that repo done. It's not dead per se, and I'll explain in a second. But it's done in a sense that no more uploads are going to happen on that repo. Now, where do we back up the videos? Meaning after the 7 days, and this is the detail that I was thinking about. One of the possible solutions that we were discussing with the guys was maybe getting another server, which meant getting something for 20 teras or something, and then uploading there. But it still left us with all this space, if you will, on the Supernode that we were not going to use. There's about 50 teras or so left on the Supernode that you cannot use if you use that repo. So what I did, and this part is pretty crazy, and it's been 4 hours and it's working right now. So the cool thing about this also is the hot node helps me. So if something goes back, I can always revert. Something goes bad, I can revert. I'm tired, as you can tell. So right now what's happening is we have 2 daemons running. So there's a Kubo daemon running the old repo, and that is read only. So I'm going to call that cold storage. No more pinning, no more anything. I'm not going to run garbage collection on it. I'm not going to do anything with that. Not list the pins, nothing. It's just let it be. I set up that Kubo with low specs, so it's going to be kind of slow. If you request an old video, it might take a little longer to load, but I think that's okay. It's read only because most people don't go back 1 year, 2 years to watch videos. Most don't. So I think that's an acceptable compromise. Now, the new node, which is working inside the same server, the same Supernode, is another Kubo instance running on a different port with a brand new pool, with a brand new repo of blocks. So this means that now pins are happening fast, and of course on this one I set it up with a little more resources. The Supernode itself has a lot of RAM. It has like 125 gigabytes of RAM, and it has, I think, like 12 CPUs. So I think it's going to be okay. I am currently tracking the usage of the RAM is up to 60 gigabytes right now, working with both services, and I think that's acceptable for what it is that it is doing right now. But pins are happening and backups are happening. Now, one of the things that I think is going to eventually happen, and we need to have a conversation about this, the guys and maybe even the community, it is what is going to happen long term for storage. As you guys might know or might not know, when the Speed Network came about, the idea was that people would store their own files, or people would get compensated for storing files for other people. That was kind of the idea, a decentralized way of storing your own videos, sending it to a cloud that is just a bunch of people storing bits and pieces of your videos. I think the idea is fascinating, and I'm interested to know how far along that project got. Maybe it is something I can help. But I think more short term, we need a better solution now. Like, we might be many, many months away, if not longer, from something like that being deployed. It's a very complex system. So one of the things that I might end up suggesting to the guys, and this is something that, again, we can discuss, is making ThreeSpeak videos expire. I know that doesn't sound great, but I think it's a reasonable way, more so now that crypto is in the gutter, reasonable way of keeping cost down, which is to say maybe we can store videos for a year, and after a year, they just get deleted. Now, that said, we would have maybe come up with a way to notify people of how old a video is, and maybe send, people that want to be able to back up their videos. Maybe we can have a system where you give us an email, or we have your Hive account, so we can send you a memo with the CID encrypted, of course, so nobody can see it. It's your video, and you can download it, whenever you're ready, maybe a month before it gets unpinned and deleted from 3Speak. And that way, if you have a daemon running in your computer and you still want to serve those videos, or if you have a little VPS, you can start pinning them there, and then they would still show up on the website. I think that's a reasonable compromise, but it's something, of course, that we need to discuss. Rishi said to me, and with this I'm going to close because I'm already over 11 minutes, but this is an extensive topic, that if he would love for 3Speak to do 4K videos. Storage is expensive, more so these days, so I don't think it's something we're going to do soon. That said, the idea of doing 240 in quality, the rain is starting, might come first. Anyways, that's it for me. The rain is starting, so I guess that's my cue to say goodnight.